Hello, my spectacles to desire is but the ghoul next door. Your favorite ghoul fiend. Hello, my spectacles to desire is but the ghoul next door. Your favorite ghoul fiend. And once again, I am burnt to a crisp. Look at this. Look. Um, this is episode 13 of my 2026 Halloween series. And today we've got 2 bingo card tasks. One is to read an H.P. Lovecraft story, and the other one is to watch an H.P. Lovecraft movie. So I picked the movie first, which I don't know if that was a good idea or not. I ended up going with the Unnamable 2, what was hang on. The Unnamable 2, the statement of Randolph Carter. The Unnamable 2, the statement of Randolph Carter. That is a tongue twister for me. And ends up, that's the story I picked, which ended up being a short story, which I don't know if that was good or bad. We'll get to that in a minute. So, the Unnamable 2, this movie, it takes the majority of the short story, the statement of Randolph Carter. That is the basis of this, and then it pulls a little bit from the story, The Unnamable. So we open up with our 2 lead characters, and there is a there's been some sort of something, a tragedy in the graveyard. The police are there. The character kind of talks about what happened, and this is all the event. Like, you're supposed to watch part 1 and part 2 back to back, and I didn't do that. So something happens in part 1, and we open up in part 2, and our lead characters are in this graveyard. Something bad has just happened, and the cops are there, the ambulance are there, they're taking dead bodies away. Our character of Carter, he goes with his best friend back to the university. They're university students. They go to talk to their professor. They found a book, the Necronomicon. They're trying to uncover the secrets within it. They need to translate it. Their professor, he's been studying this for a while. He translates part of it for them. They go back the next day to the underground tunnels, and the professor, him and Carter go down into the tunnels where, I can't remember what the other guy's name is. I want to say Wilbur, but I don't think that's right. Hang on one second. Let me just look. What is the other character's name? Warren. Sorry. So Warren stays up on the ground and kind of, he's the lookout. Our professor, he translates a spell, and it's on this giant stone tablet that's like 5 feet high. Looks more like a wall than a tablet, and it falls on him. He dies. Carter discovers the creature. The creature is being bound by these roots. The spell was to release the roots. He releases the roots, and they have another spell to divide the Unnamable from the host body, which they do, and it ends up being this naked woman standing there. So Carter takes her with him back to the university, him and Warren, and she doesn't really speak all that well, but when she does speak, she speaks in the Cthulhu language. The Unnamable that had possessed her is hunting her down. The creature has wings and horns and stuff, so I don't know if it's supposed to be a fallen angel, or it's supposed to be a demon, or if it's supposed to be something that's come through from a portal, because like I said, I didn't watch the first movie. I just wanted to make sure I had a movie and book of the same story. So then the creature, the demon, is hunting them down, kills a few people, and eventually the girl kind of accepts that she needs to be part of, she's been possessed for so long, she cannot survive on her own. She's about to sacrifice herself when Carter takes a wooden chair in the middle of the process and kind of throws it at the demon, the Unnamable, and the wooden chair absorbs the demon. And when that happens, then the girl rapidly ages and just turns to dust. That's the end of the movie. Okay, so the book, it's actually a short story. It is at the back of this book. It's about 5 pages. Oh, you can't even see. It is about 5 pages. It is literally a short story segment. And it's pretty much the same thing, except this starts off with the character of Randolph Carter already, the cops have already gotten him. He's confessing to the cops what's going on and how his friend died. And in this one makes his friend, what did I say the character's name was? Harley Warren. It makes him the one that was trying to hunt down the Unnamable. And it's Carter's the one who stayed on the lookout above ground and hears just screams and is trying to get him on the radio. And Warren tells him to lock the door and save himself, and that's basically where it ends. The last line is the creature says, "You fool, Warren is dead." Okay, so the story is too short to really do too much of a deep dive into. And the movie itself, the movie's not too bad. The movie's good, but it does play more like an episode of like Twilight Zone or something like that. I can't remember if it is a Full Moon Enterprises, Full Moon Pictures, a Full Moon movie. It might be. I'm saying a lot in this one, aren't I? Because I know they did back in the late 80s, early 90s, that Full Moon did a lot of H.P. Lovecraft adaptations. I think they might have done The Unnamable and The Unnamable 2. I really don't remember. There's not a lot. Like I didn't pick the best selection this time around. But like I said, I wanted to find something that I could watch the movie and compare to the story. and I've done Reanimator a few times. I didn't want to do Reanimator again. Do I have thoughts on this? The story itself just kind of gets good when it ends. Like, it reads more like an introduction than a full story or even a full chapter. You're supposed to feel the dread that Carter is feeling, the paralyzing fear in the story part, in the novelization, of not knowing what his friend is going through. Whereas in the movie, they made the movie a little bit of a love story. Not a little bit. They made the movie a love story. Because, like, once the Unnamable is separated from the host body and we find out it's a naked woman, then Carter just latches onto her. Actually, she latches onto him because she's afraid of the modern world. She's been down in that cage, trapped in under the cemetery for so long. I think it says at one point that she's 300 years old. So she latches onto Carter as a protector, and he ends up, of course, falling for her, for lack of a better word. And I hate that about movies. They'll have the characters together for like 2 hours and they'll be like confessing their love. And that one takes place in the course of less than 24 hours. I think it happens all within, we open up with them at night. They go talk to the professor during the daytime. Then that night they go back to the cemetery, and by morning everyone's dead. So I don't think that there is anything too deep with the movie version of the Unnamable 2. It's a typical, somebody read some incantation they're not supposed to read and went into a dark cave they're not supposed to go into, and all hell broke loose. That is, like, literally, it's one of those movies. It's early 90s. The fashion, watch it for the fashion, if nothing else. No, the fashion is actually very toned down. They kind of played it so that there wasn't too many decade markers, which is always a good thing with a Lovecraft story. You want to kind of keep the fashion and the music a little bit universal. There's not a whole lot, or there's not too many scenes, I should say, of the Necronomicon, so don't even really get to talk about the design of that. I still think that Cast a Deadly Spell has the best Necronomicon design. Yeah, I'm struggling. I picked a bad one. I picked a bad one simply because there's not enough story to really do a book review, and this is probably why they kind of combined it, took elements from the Unnamable so that they could actually stretch the story out. Yeah, I'm struggling right now to make sense of this, because there wasn't a lot to work with. That's on me. I picked a bad selection this time around. All right, so I think I might throw in a few extra bits in the next segment. I did some Halloween decor hunting, so I think I'll just add that into the next couple of minutes of time here, and I will see you next week in the next video. I have no idea what I'm doing for next week's video, so I'll see you next week. Until then, creeping screams. But there's another segment. Okay, let's see what Party City has. And here we are. They were just starting to set up some stuff. That would be last year's leftovers. Doing voiceover for this end piece here because had to turn down the sound. They had copyrighted music, so playing in the background because they had the radio on. So they were just starting to put out, like I said, last year's kind of leftovers in the clearance section. And I'll have to go back soon. I would love to get one of those skull buckets if they have any left. They should have their seasonal for 2026 out by the time this video comes up, as I did tape the footage a couple of weeks ago. I taped the footage last week. Here we have some hanging, I don't even know what to call these. You put them outside on your tree and they blow in the wind. Hanging stuff. Yeah, I'm on the ball today, really. I'm good. I'm can't think straight. I would love to get one of those fake chainsaws and do a Evil Dead scene. You have some Haunted Mansion stuff here, which always seems to be popular in my city. The Haunted Mansion. I should do a review on one of the versions there. Yeah. The bits and bobs that you get all the time, the paper plates and I lost my train of thought there. Sorry. A lot of accessories. Like, I love those sunglasses from the 80s. We actually had, my friends and I used to wear them all the time in real life. Way back when, we thought we were cool. Now we're in Michael's. Michael's was right next door, and they just started to put out their spooky towns. I didn't really get close enough to get any of the prices. I will go back to Michael's, and I will have the prices and more of an update. They told me they would be the middle of July before they put out all their Halloween stuff. Okay, a proper creeping screams.